Hey folks, ever wondered what's cooking in the next Despicable movie? Well, it's time to talk about the upcoming Despicable Me 4, and we've got all the details you've been craving. Gru, the Minions, and a new chapter in the making. Buckle up for an exclusive look at everything we know so far about the upcoming Despicable Me installment. There are never enough Minions, right? Here is some good news for you. Despicable Me 4 is heading to theaters in 2024, which will be one of Gru's wildest adventures yet. Despicable Me in 2010 instantly took a worldwide audience by storm with the initial response to the first movie, declaring the birth of a fantastic animated series with heaps of potential. Without doubt, it came true. The $3.7 billion franchise has grown to become one of the highest grossing movie series of all time. Sequels and even spin-off prequels are consistently maintaining the standards that make fans go crazy. The popularity of the series remains ensured all the time. Despicable Me, for the first time in movies, brought about the concept of fascinating villains rather than heroes. The movie revolves around a villain named Gru who freeze-dries people. Gru is voiced by Steve Carell, an American actor and comedian who gives him an accent somewhere between a Russian mafioso and crazed Nazi. He has a suburban home that serves as a battlefield for his underground lair, where he and his partner Dr. Nefario, voiced by Russell Brand, and thousands of minions plan their nefarious deeds. Gru's most powerful weapon is the Insta-Freeze gun, with which he freezes people, but now with the help of Dr. Nefario, he can employ a shrink ray. Minions are no strangers to anyone. The principal responsibility of the Yellow Exercise Ball's minions is to cheer for Gru as if he is their head. Gru and Dr. Nefario plan to obtain a shrink ray to steal the Earth's moon. Gru and his minions easily steal a shrink ray stored in a secret base in Asia, but it's stolen from them just moments later by the supervillain Vector, voiced by Jason Segel. Gru tries several means to break into Vector's base, but fails. Gru adopts 3 girls as his daughters to capture the shrink ray from his arch-rival Vector's house. They are Margot, Edith, and Agnes. They successfully reacquire the shrink ray. The film portrays a heartfelt relationship between Gru and his adopted daughters. In the scene where Gru returns to the Bank of Evil for his loan, Perkins rejects him. The girls offer the contents of their piggy bank to fund the plan to steal the moon. Despicable Me ends when Gru steals the moon by shrinking it to the size of his hand, but then he realizes that Vector has kidnapped his daughters and demands the moon as a ransom for their return. It ends where Gru resumes his girls from Vector as the moon explodes out of Vector's ship and launches itself back into orbit. Vector is trapped on the moon as it regains its full size. Sometime later, Gru readopts the girls and treats them as his family. In the second part, Despicable Me 2, the Anti-Villain League recruits Gru to investigate the theft of a secret Arctic laboratory. Together with the eccentric AVL agent Lucy Wilde, Gru finds the culprit. Perez is a supervillain called El Macho. Gru, along with the minions, Dr. Nefario, Lucy and his daughters, fight El Macho, who becomes a monster by mutilating himself with PX-41. He and his team spray all of the mutated minions with awful-tasting jelly containing a powerful antidote for PX-41. Gru and Lucy will save themselves from a TNT-loaded shark rocket. At the end of the movie, Gru and Lucy are married, and Margot, Edith, and Agnes finally have a mother. Talking about Despicable Me 3. Gru is an Anti-Villain League agent who manages to foil supervillain Balthazar Bratz, played by Trey Parker's robbery of the world's most expensive diamond, the Demond Diamond. He eventually saves the diamond with the help of his minions and his wife Lucy, but fails to catch Brat. Gru and Lucy get fired for the same reason, even though they were successful in stopping Brat from stealing the diamond. In the middle of the movie, all the minions are arrested after trespassing at a talent show set. Drew, Gru's twin brother, appears in this installment. He lives in a distant country named Fredonia. Drew turns to his brother to teach him how to be a villain, but Gru is unwilling to go back to bring a villain. Along with Drew, Gru decides to steal the diamond for one last heist to bring it to the AVL in order for Da Vinci, the director, to reinstate his work. They manage to retrieve the diamond, but at the same time, Drew learns about his brother's hidden motive, and it leads to a conflict between them. Brat infiltrates Drew's mansion by disguising it as Lucy, kidnaps the children, and once again obtains the diamond, which leads Gru, Lucy, and Drew to resolve their differences and pursue him. With the help of his robot, Brat tries to wreck Hollywood, but Gru and Drew weaken Brat's robot with the weapons present in their father's car. Gru defeats Brat in a dance fight, which ends with Gru trapping Brat with his own gun. The minions reconcile with Gru, and they manage to destroy Brat's gum covering the city. As the movie ends, Gru and Lucy were reinstated in the AVL, and the newly united family celebrate in his house. The movie ends with Drew and a large number of the minions stealing Gru's airship. Now, here comes Despicable Me 4. Despicable Me 4 is one of the most highly anticipated upcoming movies on Universal's calendar. Movie enthusiasts are not ready to say goodbye to Gru and his family. It is confirmed that the writer Mike White is cooking up something big. He'll be joined by the co-directors Chris Renaud, Patrick Delage, and Rachel Levy, who heads up the music department in which this franchise is famous. The trailer released last week is definitely the first glimpse of the long-awaited animated epic of all time. The new trailer has established Will Ferrell's new villain, Maxime Lamal, as the latest rogue to threaten Gru and his family. Not only that, the trailer has baby Gru on board. The 2-minute video beautifully shows the Daily Man Gru. The trailer has left every fan in excitement for Gru's next heist. Now, who will be returning as the voices of Despicable Me 4? A heap of new and returning voices for sure. Although the trailer doesn't provide much information about the cast, a bulk of Despicable Me is expected to bless the movie. As has been the case in every installment thus far, Steve Carell is returning as the reformed supervillain Felonious Gru, while Miranda Cosgrove reprises her role as Gru's eldest daughter Margot, and Dana Geyer returns as middle child Edith. Madison Poland assumes the role of youngest daughter Agnes, previously voiced by Nev Sharrow. Steve Carell himself mentioned the importance of Gru's kids in the upcoming movie. Lucy, voiced by Tristan Wigg, is assured. The newest supervillain, Maxime Lamal in Despicable Me 4, will be voiced by the legendary comic Will Ferrell, which is very promising. I wonder what the plot could be for Despicable Me 4. There is no official plot synopsis for Despicable Me 4, which is expected to be released in July 2024. But that doesn't stop us from speculating about what the upcoming sequel could be about. Despicable Me 3 ends with Gru's twin brother Drew, voiced by Steve Carell, taking charge of the minions whilst Gru and Lucy are back at the anti-villain league. This potentially could be a starting block for the upcoming movie. The fact that some nerve-wracking plans are cooked by the new supervillain is beyond doubt. Gru and the gang must be ready, saving the day by any means necessary. The trailer also hints at the escape of villain Maxime Lamal, forcing Gru and his clan to go into hiding, all while attempting to pull off the heist that made him such a notorious supervillain in the first place. One thing is for sure, the true core of Despicable Me 4's story is going to be the relationship between Gru and his young son. The film will portray the budding relationship from the infant's little love for his father. So when will Gru return? The set release date for Despicable Me 4 by Universal Pictures and Illumination is July 3rd, 2024. It will arrive for home viewing by October or November of the same year on Peacock. Just like its predecessors, Despicable Me 4 will be getting the full theatrical release at the highest viewing capacity, because the fans expect nothing less from that. Alright people, it's time to wrap up. Let's keep our fingers crossed for this. The expectations are sky high. Thanks a bunch for hanging out and exploring Despicable Me 4 with me. If you had a blast like we did, then show some love with that like button, and subscribe for more animated goodness. Until the next adventure, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.